Okay, today's video we're going to talk about how many headlines for Google Ads can make you the most money with Google Ads, okay? This is a very controversial topic. A lot of people are going to say a lot of different things. I can tell you from my experience what works the best. That we use to, at our agency, we don't charge fees before we charge our clients, before we charge our clients fees, we promise them so much results on their campaigns. What I'm giving you here is what we use to get the best results for the campaigns because we want to get paid as quickly as possible. With that said, just automatically doing what Google wants you to do, put 15 headlines into your ads and just to try to please Google's algorithm, that's not going to make you the most money. If it was, I would do it because ultimately it's more profitable. I'm telling you here, or what I'm about to tell you here, is what will make you the most money, not what's going to make Google the happiest, not what other YouTubers' advice that you have heard, I'm not doing this to agree with anybody else. I'm giving you what makes the most money here. I'll explain the setup that does make the most money in terms of number of headlines, how to do them, and then why this actually works better. Of course, because I always want to know personally, if I'm going to do something in life, why is it I'm doing it? I don't want to just blindly follow advice. That's how you basically get scammed by other people to begin with. When you hear why you want to do things the way that I'm telling you here, you'll understand why you're doing it the way that I'm telling you here and why that makes the most money. So with all that said, I'll get directly into the content here. Google will let you have up to 15 headlines on your ads. I'm telling you here, first and foremost, you shouldn't necessarily use all of them just to justify a high ad strength score, because Google's system is set up for like dummy advertisers who don't know a thing about Google Ads or advertising or marketing or anything. Of course, if you know nothing about writing ads or ad headlines or anything, you don't know an ad, what's a good ad from a hole in the wall, Google wants you to put in a lot of headlines into your ad because it gives them the highest chance of finding the best, a good ad, we'll say, or good enough ad, that they can run your ad on Google and not have their users get a terrible experience. They want an ad that gets high click-through rates from their advertisers, because Google users that come to Google that click on rates at a high rate that proves that the ads are useful to them, and then of course makes Google money. More important than short-term money, Google wants long-term money though. They want to make sure that if there's ads there, that they're relevant for the user, otherwise they don't even want to show any ads at all. So you put 15 ads in there, even if you don't know how to write an ad, there's a fairly good chance they'll find at least one of them that are halfway decent. But not only that, it's very important to understand that Google's system's very complex now. It's not simply, trying to pick one headline and this is the headline that always works and that's it. That's as far from the truth as it gets. What the reality is there's 15 headlines there, assuming that you put all 15 headlines in there to please the ad strength score. That's trying to optimize for people who don't know how to write ads to make the ad work for them. Then what Google is going to do is not just have one headline that shows for everybody. They're going to show this headline here if the person searches for this. They're going to show this headline here if the person searches for this, and so on. And the proof of this is actually shown if you go into the recommendation section on Google. The most common thing that you'll see when it comes to headlines is they'll say, add more headlines that have keywords in them. Why? Because they know, here's where it should make logical sense what everybody else on YouTube is saying compared to what I'm saying about ad headlines. That you understand that what I'm saying is the reality and not what everybody else is saying. That what is going to be the best experience for Google's users and get you the highest click-through rate, which is going to make you the most money, is an ad headline that has pretty much what the user types in. So basically they want you to put a bunch of headlines in there that have keywords laced in the headline so that they have a headline to pick out. When they search for this keyword, they have a headline that matches this keyword. Okay? What I'm telling you here is, now that you know this, and it should make logical sense why Google wants to do this, that you should be using this SKAG ad model that nobody on YouTube still to this day currently says that's a good idea. I'm the only one left saying this is a good idea, which is SKAG stands for single keyword ad groups, where you're going to put only one keyword per ad group, so you can have a dedicated ad for every keyword, and of course along with that a dedicated landing page to take them to. But since we're talking about headlines, we're just going to talk about the fact that this setup, SKAG setup, will let you have an ad and a headline that matches what the keyword is specifically. So with that all said, bringing this all together, you don't need 15 headlines for Google to hopefully find a headline in there that has a keyword that matches what the user's keyword is, because you only got one keyword in your ad group. So technically you can get by with just one headline, because you know what keyword that this ad is going to show up for. So obviously you would want the headline to be tied to the keyword, because that's what works the best. Google proves that to you and how they word their recommendations to you. And it should just make logical sense, which is why I don't understand why the other YouTubers say don't use a single ad for a single keyword, because obviously if I'm looking for a blue pair of shoes with red polka dots, I don't want to see an ad that says Blue Shoe Company. I want to see an ad that says blue shoes with red polka dots, period, full stop. This shouldn't even be debated by anybody, but it is. So with that said, you go ahead, and the reason why the other YouTubers basically flat out don't say to use single keyword ad groups so you can have a unique ad for every keyword, because it takes too much damn work. And they're trying to do as little work as possible for their clients so they can maximize the profit margins working with their clients. Sorry, you can attack me all you want, other YouTubers. It's the reality. Of course, there's a short-term benefit. You do get quicker results with more headlines and more keywords in each ad group than having one keyword per ad group. But long-term, the results are not even comparable. You're going to make 3 times more money at least putting one keyword in each ad group. So anyway, so in order to do the single keyword ad groups, not only do you have to write a unique ad for every keyword, though, that's half of it. The other half of it is you got to understand what are the few hundred different ways people search for your product or service, so that you can actually have a unique ad for each keyword. Because otherwise, if you do what everybody else tells you on YouTube, you put 10 or 20 keywords in your ad group and have them all in broad match, you don't need 500 keywords, you need 20. And then Google, with that, they're going to take your ad with 15 headlines and try to mix and match and try to hopefully find the most relevant headline for the most relevant way that people are searching, and to get them a headline that semi-closely matches what people are searching for. Whereas if you do things my way, where you have 500 different keywords, all of which have a unique ad, Google's algorithm gets to be able to display a exact match headline to what the user is searching for. The user gets what they want, therefore Google gets what they want, therefore Google rewards you with lower cost per click. They want to show you the maximum amount of times they can for that keyword, because it provides the best experience. There's 10 ads cycling in and out of the top 4 ad spots on Google. They want to show you the most. And you actually get more market share, and everybody wins in that situation. It just takes a lot of work up front to find the 500 different ways people are searching for that product or service, and then writing a headline for each one of them. But it's not that complicated to write a unique headline for each keyword, by the way. For the most part, just by having the first headline match what the user types in, or a close variation of it, you're already going to do 3 times better than your competition and make 3 times as much money just from that one thing. So if they're searching for blue polka dot shoes, then your headline, your first headline, is going to be that exactly. If they, by the way, search for like blue polka dot shoes near me, you're not going to put near me in the headline. Just say blue polka dot shoes near you. That way it doesn't sound like a robot did it. So when I say just put the keyword in the headline, that works the best it does, assuming that they don't type in something that's nonsensical, and if they do, just make it as close as possible to the keyword they typed in without making it obvious that you're just regurgitating it back to them, if that makes sense. So, and then you got it in the first headline, you pin the first headline, and you got a great ad for every single person who searches for that keyword. And then you do that for each keyword, you're going to get 3 times the results you can get trying to take one ad group, shove some keywords in there, and then have 15 headlines set up for that ad. Not to mention, eventually, Google, by the way, will try to, if you put 15 headlines in that ad, and you put 10 or 20 keywords in that single ad group there to go with it, Google will try to, each of the 15 headlines for each keyword that your ad is showing up for, and try to make the best of what it has to work with. It's going to take forever for that algorithm to figure out that this headline number 14 should go along with this particular keyword search that people are making in your niche. It's going to take them spending $500,000 before they find that perfect matchup of these 15 headline options with these 500 keywords, mixing and matching. You get what I'm saying? Because each time, one shot at it, they're not going to figure anything out. They got to like have 500 searches for that particular way people are searching, and then of that, try this headline with this keyword 15 or 500 times to know if this headline's going to work or not. Then they got to try this headline, the second headline, with this search 500 times. So you see how this would take forever for Google to figure anything out. So, and then on top of that, that's not even the short of it. Basically, okay. What Google also does is, even though you have one keyword per ad group like I'm telling you to do, and that the first headline matches basically what the user's keyword is, you got a great ad for the most part already. On top of that though, they're going to try to figure out if your ad should even show up for that keyword, if that person's male versus female, or if that person's old versus young, and there's other variables going on. That's how Google gets you consistently more results over time, particularly when you have conversion tracking set up. So with Google having to figure out all this other crap in the background, why add more uncertainty and stuff for Google to test on top of it? You know, i.e. having 15 headlines for Google to have to test. At least you take that variable out for them. So all they have to focus on is, for this keyword, when they search for this keyword, this is the ad to use, and all we got to figure out now is that should it show up for that person if they're male versus female, or old or young, because, you know, obviously if you sell female shoes, which you should block, if you did that, you should block males, but if you put, you know, just giving you a general example, even though males buy for their wives or whatever, but in that particular case, they'll test your ad for showing up for that keyword for males versus females and find out if it should show up for males at all, and then if not, it'll stop showing up for males for that keyword, and they will eventually figure all those little individual details out to get you the best results from your ads. You're going to get the really, really good results out of Google Ads quicker if you just take the variable out of the ad of having to figure out what ad it should even show, and then just focus on the people that search for your keywords. Should it show up for male versus female, old versus young, you know, early in the day versus late in the day, this device versus that device, and so forth. Beyond this, other things to know. So, every single time I set up a campaign, I'm going to have the keyword match the headline, and then have that headline, that first headline that the keyword's in, pinned to the top, because that always works the best, no matter what. Okay? I don't care what anybody else says. Top of that, we'll in a lot of cases, in addition to that, we'll have the second headline be pinned to the top as well. Why? Because that works the best. Not in every single market, but in a lot. So, to give you an example, if we're talking about a cleaning service, if the user types in cleaning services Dallas, we want cleaning services Dallas in the first headline, and then secondarily, in the second headline, best in Dallas. Why would we do that? Because we know, based upon what they're searching, what will work in the second headline spot, okay? Versus trying to put 15 headlines in there for Google to try to figure out what works in that second spot. We know if we just take what we know about what they're searching, put it in the second headline as well, we'll still have the best results out of anything else that we can do. So we'll pin the first and the second headline. Another example, if we're selling products, we're selling printer toner to people, they're looking for a Brother XYZ 12 model printer toner. We're going to say on our headline, if they type in Brother XYZ 12 printer toner, we want to say that in the headline of the first headline, and then the second headline should be price only $49.87. Why? Because we know that they're probably going to want to know the price of this toner before they click on the ad, and that's better than trying to say free shipping or whatever random crap. We take, in other words, what we know about the user and make that second headline relevant to what they're searching for, because when you now, the great thing about having the SKAG setup, single keyword ad group setup, is we know what the person likely wants to hear when they make this exact search, so we don't have to just, here's 15 things they might want to hear, which is dumb. We know pretty much what they want to hear. We can interview our clients and know what's important to them. If they buy printer toner, what's important? That it fits the printer, that it's cheap. Of course, that it's high quality and we can trust it, right? Well, if we already know this, let's just have the first and second headline repeat back to in the first headline that we offer the thing, because we know what they want to know that up front, and then that the price is this. And then the third headline, even, in that scenario, we can say that it has 5-year warranty or whatever, so that they know they can trust it on top of that. But you get the general idea. Instead of just winging it, the first and the second headline should, if you want the most results, match up with what the user's searching for, because based upon what they're searching, what they want to hear. Okay, so in a lot of cases, the first and second headline will be penned at the top, and you'll already know what to put there based upon what they're searching each time. And so you don't need Google to use all the other headlines that you could potentially put in your ad to find out what works the best, because it's just logical. They search for this is probably what they want to hear. If you don't, it's not going to take a genius to figure it out. Your third headline, by the way, though, that one I typically don't put pin at the top. That's the situation where I will let Google do some split testing. I'll put 5 other headlines or 10 other headlines and let Google figure out what goes in that spot. Sometimes people will want to hear that it has a 5-year warranty. Sometimes people will want to hear that it has free shipping. Sometimes they'll want to hear that we've won an award. And the key thing about this is, based upon each keyword, it's going to vary a little bit. Some people that type in best printer toner in that third headline position are going to want to know that we have a warranty. So, in that particular instance, Google will, by taking the headline options we have with the third headline, figure out, that is the one that to use ultimately. If they type in cheap printer toner, then in that case, they find the free shipping headline for the third position is the one to go, right? So in that instance, which if you wanted to do a bunch of work, you could even try to say the third headline should say this. We usually don't go to that extent. The third headline will put in the 5 or 10 options that they basically could want to hear, and then just let Google do on that third headline figure out which of the 5 or 10 options work the best. But you can see, for the most part, we don't wing this. Where it is a little bit questionable whether they're going to want to see free shipping or 5-year warranty, we'll let Google do some testing on their end. And then furthermore though, even if I know based upon them typing in cheap printer toner versus best printer toner that they probably want to see free shipping versus the 5-year warranty, going back to what I was saying before, it varies based upon the person searching for the keyword, because there's different people that type that keyword in. There's male versus female, old versus young, high income versus low income. So the difference between somebody typing a cheap printer toner that's rich versus poor will affect whether or not that third headline and the free shipping being the one that gets the highest click-through rate versus the 5-year warranty being the one that gets the highest click-through rate. So Google will do their testing on a level that we can't necessarily do it, practically anyway, so that all the people searching for that keyword, they'll do the micro testing. Okay, for the third headline, if they're rich, use this one. If they're poor, use this one. And so you can understand how Google actually works. We're going to cut down on most of the testing that Google has to do so we can get right to the results right away, and not have to wait 10 years for Google to figure out the most ideal ad to show for people in our market. And then for what, ultimately we can't practically test on their own, we'll give them some other headlines to try to do some micro testing on their own to continuously make our ad better and better and better for our audience, so that the people searching for our keywords are going to get a headline that matches their demographic well on top of everything else. So in a lot of cases, it's only the H3 that we're going to let Google test on their end with the additional headlines. And in summary here, if it's not obvious, you shouldn't be just throwing headlines in there that are random crap. Find the 5 or 10 things that your customers care about by interviewing your salespeople, whatnot, and put those in there so that when Google does do some split testing, that it's productive testing. Either they want to hear about the warranty, the free shipping, the award that we have, and we'll just let Google figure it out on their end. We're not just going to put random crap in there because Google says if you add more headlines, you'll get more results, which if Google could give you advice that worked for everybody, well, then they would just run your ads for you. They give you general advice that works for most people, but you're not average. You're going to be able to do what most people won't be willing to do with their ads. And because of that, you're going to get way better results, and in that, you're not just going to put random crap into your ad and let Google's algorithm eventually sort out what to do. And and then with that, the information you do give them to test, it's all very practically thought out. These are the key things that most customers think about, and so if you're going to test anything, these are the few things that we want to test Google, rotate it out for people that are searching for our ads. The people who are cheap, you ultimately find the headline for those people. The people that are not cheap, find the headline that is going to work for those people, and then make sure the people that are rich always see this headline. The people that are broke always see this headline, so that I get the highest click-through rate out of all available profitable clicks in my market as a whole. So in general, that's the answer for how many headlines for Google Ads that you're going to want to have to make the most money. If you do the proper work, you only need 5 or 10 headlines at the most, for the most part. And for the most part, it's only the second and the third headline that needs tested. And of those, it's going to be 5 or 10 of the most common things that you think people want to hear based upon your research of your customer base. Then you let Google test that on their own, and let Google find out which demographics of people that you're targeting should see one headline over the other, like I was talking about before. But only letting Google do that where it's not obvious what they should see on that first headline or second headline, as I mentioned earlier. So that's pretty much the answer that I have for you here. If you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. If you have any ad-related question, feel free to ask me a question. I'd love to be able to give back to my viewers. If you did see some value out of this video, I'd appreciate it if you would give the video a like and consider subscribing, as I have a ton of other content on this channel about how to make money with ads on Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, on and on and on. And it's coming straight from the source of somebody who just does ad strategy all day long. Not a YouTuber, course seller, or anything like that. Therefore, the information can be relied on. If you like my content on this channel, you can find my blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog, as well as my column that I have over at entrepreneur.com. If you are looking for an ad manager now or in the future, I am the best ad manager, I promise you can practically find online that's available for hire. And I'd love to be able to give you an analysis of what you're doing right now and see how much we can get you in terms of sales results before we even have to charge you any fees, and to potentially see if we can work together. I don't work with just any client, but if you reach out to me, I'll look at your stuff and see if there is potential there. And if there is, like I said, I can make you an offer of, we can get you some results before even having to charge any fees for you necessarily up front. And because that's what we do at our agencies. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me at guaranteedppc.com. If you are looking for an ad manager though, and you want great results, you want to shortcut your way to having great results in your market, we're selling ad templates that work for a number of different markets that we've worked in before. And of that, if you want to be able to just get the campaign templates that we know work for the plumbing space or the electrical services space, or what have you, or if you're selling printer toner, if we've worked in that market, instead of figuring out all the stuff that we had to figure out in your market on how to get things to work optimally, you can use the ads and the campaigns and the landing page templates that we've made and tested in your market and get the same results we did after years of testing. We sell the templates for a one-time fee, and if you want to see what results we got in your market, just reach out and I'll let you know, of course. But certainly you're going to spend way more money figuring out all this stuff for yourself than what we're going to charge for the template. So if you're interested in that, let me know. We got people using the templates to start even side businesses. side e-commerce businesses, side lead selling businesses. So they're really effective basically. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'll wrap it up with that though. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on my next video where we have another great strategy for you then. See you later.